Okay, don't actually time me, but I'm going to try and keep this to 3 minutes or less, see how I do. But I just want to talk really briefly about that wonderful passage, and thank you, all of you, your flames of fire and the incredible wind. Thank you, Francis, for directing the most astonishing wind I have ever heard in a worship service. And all of the various other readers, it really brought that scripture alive. One of the things I love about that scripture is it's got Peter in it. And one of the things I love about Peter is Peter's a little bit like me. Peter's kind of slow to catch on sometimes. I don't know if that's true of anybody else or not. But Peter sometimes he's just kind of like doesn't get it. But then suddenly he does. And suddenly Peter's like, oh yeah! And this is one of those stories, right? And as Peter's watching all of this strangeness going on, and people are talking in different languages, and there's wind and there's flames and stuff, and Peter's going, I know what this is. This is just what the prophet Joel was talking about. And he gets up and he reads, he recites part of the prophet Joel. He knew it that well. So the prophet Joel, long time before Peter, had said, in the last days, now, got to stop for a second and unpack that. Because sometimes people think last days means at the end of time. It doesn't. It's a Hebrew way of saying, basically, one of these days. It's kind of like, and I did just experience this, just yesterday. It's sort of like your birthday, where people think you're a year older, but in actual fact, on that day, you are only 1 day older, right? So I'm suddenly in my 58th year, but day before yesterday, I was a lot younger. It's only a day later. The Hebrew expression is kind of God saying, one of these days I'm going to do something completely different. The whole world's going to change, except it's not really going to change, is kind of what that means. And so Peter stands up and he says, God said, one of these days I'm going to pour out my Spirit on every one of you. And even though it's a very old text, it's really neat to notice. It says on men and on women and on young and on old, all of you are going to get a little bit of my Spirit. And when you've got a little bit of my Spirit, you're going to see things in a new way. You're going to understand things in a new way. And that, Peter says, that's what's going on right now. That's why we wear red today. That's why we sing wonderful upbeat songs and make great wind sounds and celebrate. God's Spirit is on each and every one of us. And it's on us in different ways, and it makes us do different things, and we see different things, but it invites us into this new world, this new life, guided each and every moment by the risen Christ. It is so cool to celebrate God's Spirit on each and every one of us.